So, I'm gonna try this out. I'm gonna try and take this channel and document the next years of my life, pretty much. All right. So, my name is Jahmeek. 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 Now, all my life, people's always made a mistake of calling me Jameek by accident, but I prefer when they call me by how it's pronounced. Jahmeek. Jahmeek Raymond Morgan. I was born in Newark, New Jersey in 2007, April 12th, Aries gang, and I've always been interested about who I am as an individual and who I am in relation to my community. African American families right from South Virginia, South Carolina, but we all live up north now, up in New York, uh, Newark area, a little bit of Philadelphia every now and then, and some people moved back down to it, Georgia, actually, in Atlanta. So all my life, I grew up around all these different communities and different people in the city and out of the city, suburban areas. So I've always been interested in the ways that cultures interact with each other and the way that people can live peacefully, And when times aren't at peace, what do they do? So I guess that really means that I was forged to have some sort of interest in the world of history and archaeology and anthropology, linguistics, where people overlap and where they separate, you know. A lot of people, we can understand today that humanity is humanity, no matter where you're from or what your background is. But there are a lot of differences to each other. And I think some of those can be highlighted and some of those should be respected. So that's where I think I can come in for now. So for a bit of like current perspective on my life, I'm a college freshman at Lincoln University. I've been going there for maybe about 6 months. I started back in August of 2025. I graduated high school June, Father's Day, from Milton Hershey School. It's a private boarding school near Hershey Park. I found out about the school just from passing by. I mean, I went to Hershey Park as a kid growing up. Went to go to the amusement park, you know. And no, of course, I knew Hershey's chocolate, like the Kisses, the Hershey bars, Reese's. Those were always prevalent around what you call it, Halloween time, and my bag would be full of them until my mom took the Reese's. But anyway, though, that when COVID hit, it hit pretty hard. I mean, I was a young kid, middle school age, trying to fit in with different schools. I was moving around frequently, and I wanted to be somewhere that I could get to know a little better. So when I realized that Hershey had a boarding school that could, possibly let me in, I said, new experiences, chart my own course. I was only 13, going on 14, and I wanted to do something on my own that would be influential to my family, and maybe even the world. What kind of story could I create? And so that's why I'm now at Lincoln University. Hershey helped me out. They said, hey, young man, you're not doing too bad. We'll let you go to Lincoln, prove yourself a little bit. We'll give you that nice little ride. So that's where I am right now. Currently, though, it's spring break, February 24th, 2026. Currently in Baltimore, Maryland. Not Lincoln University, sadly, but it is spring break. And I'm down here with my mom's right now because she is doing a Planned Parenthood conference, actually, teaching about sex ed, to people who are treating people in the industry, industry of clinics and maternal health, things that really matter to the world in general, right? So I think it's very good to know about those kind of things as a man, coming up in age. I'm only 18, but my mind is older. So I'm learning about life, but I should also learn about other people. And so coming to this conference helps me normalize and humanize other people, which I've always been a fan of. Although I'm young, I'm decently well traveled, surprisingly. I've been to a few places inside and just outside the country, many cities. I'm not the first person in my family to go to college. Far from. My mother and my grandmother and so on and so forth, people around me have been to college and came out with degrees. With me, though, is that I want to go there because I want to be able to contribute to the world. You know, my parents and so forth, they went because they wanted to contribute to humanities. You know, and I think that I also fall into that kind of area as well, studying them growing up. You know, so here I am. And everywhere that I go and everywhere I travel, I take a little bit from it and I bring it back home to my friends and family and so forth. Like right now, I'm in the city of Baltimore. This place is pretty beautiful. But I might have not really known that if I never came and I just listened to some friends who, lived in Baltimore, and they told me only the worst parts rather than the best. And I think that's another place where I can come in myself with this YouTube channel to show people some of the best parts of the world. And then, but not ignore some of the worst parts of the world. Humanity is good in nature, but there are parts of us that can dip into these negative frequencies. And I think the more that we understand the nuance of it, the better we can understand each other and ourselves, you know? And so that's what I want to do with this channel. I want to explore the nuances of humanity um, from a future archaeologist perspective, and maybe at some point even explore the world of politics and policies, not just learning things and teaching them, but implementing them into our lives so that we will never forget these amazing things and we can learn from them, you know? At one point, I used to think that history was a circle, like it repeats itself. But the more that I try to study, understand things, it's more like a spiral. You know, a spiral kind of goes down like this, and it looks almost as if it's repeating itself from a certain perspective, but it creates similarities that aren't exactly the same as we've already seen. But we have to understand it from all points of views. When it comes to some of my other interests, I'm a big fan, big proponent of music and music theories and the way that different genres can relate to different people, but also bring different people together. I mean, yes, I'm African American, but what does that really mean? I mean, my people have been able to come up with so many different genres of music that are the very foundations to North American culture. I'm talking from hip hop, R&B, rock and roll, soul music, funk music, certain forms of salsa music, the list goes on and on and on. EDM, techno, you know, these amazing things, and not only just music art, but also physical art. I mean, one of the greatest artists you'll hear about in recent times is Basquiat. He's right there in New York. He's not far at all. So I think me loving these things humanize it, and it puts me into a better perspective of where I could fit in this world. I want to make some art too, not just to, be known for it, but to add to the well long catalog of amazing things that people right here can and will continue to do forever, forever. So I think that's another one of my interests and one of my goals is to pursue some arts, and inspire others to do it too. Hopefully, everyone doesn't really have the best ability to communicate, but I feel that's a place where I can come in. Be able to express these things that everyone might not be able to comprehend at first. I could bring uh, a subject like Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophies and simple them down to a way that a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old can understand it. Oh, so I make my own reality. So I have to put things into will and fruition. Y'all gonna get me. Y'all gonna get me soon. Hopefully. And that's what I want to do with this channel. Hopefully be consistent, take you guys where I go, whether it's just my current hometown or somewhere far off. You know, one day I might be in Philadelphia, next day I'll be in Trenton, next day I'll be in NYC, next day I'll be out here in Baltimore for some reason. And then, next thing you know, you close your eyes and you blink, and I'm over there in Colorado and Los Angeles, Atlanta, and Miami. You know, so come with me, guys. Come with me and watch as I grow over the next few years. So, thanks. Peace, world.